All right, everyone, get ready because today we are diving deep into the world of online business.
Ooh, exciting.
And we're going to be taking apart a blog post from blogwidow.com.
Okay.
It's called Bad Decisions That Hinder Online Business Success and What You Should Do Instead.
Catchy.
Right.
Yeah.
So this post was published on February 20th, 2025.
Oh,
And
very recent.
yeah, very recently. And it is absolutely packed with advice
Okay.
on how to avoid common mistakes
Yeah.
that people make when they are starting their online businesses. So basically what we're going to do in this deep dive is pull out
Yeah.
the juiciest, the most actionable insights to
To help you.
help you
Yeah, help you. Yeah.
build that thriving online business.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about this blog is it's not just
Yeah.
pointing out the mistakes that people make, but it's also
Yeah.
giving you a framework to use to make better decisions.
Oh, totally.
So it's almost like having a mentor in a blog post walking you through all the things to avoid
Yeah, I like that.
and how to move past them and actually
Yeah.
set yourself up for success.
Exactly. We want to take all those oh no moments and turn them into aha moments.
Uh-huh.
And I think one of the biggest aha moments
Okay.
that this blog brings up is the role of market research.
Oh, yeah. Big one.
Yeah, market research is king.
Absolutely.
You can't just love your product.
Right.
You have to make sure that other people love it too.
Yes. Oh, I've seen so many entrepreneurs make this mistake. They fall in love with an idea
Yeah.
and they don't check if
Yeah.
anyone else wants it.
Yeah.
It's like, throwing this killer party that nobody shows up to.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. So
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that we don't have
Right.
a party that nobody shows up to?
Yeah.
We do our research, right?
Yeah. So what are some tools that we can use to
we-
really make sure that we're researching effectively?
Well, there are some great tools out there, like Google Trends.
Yeah, Google Trends.
I love Google Trends. Answer the Public.
That's Are the Public.
Both of these can tell you what people are actually searching for,
Wow.
what problems they're trying to solve, what they're interested in. So it's like having a direct line to your potential customers' thoughts.
Okay, so we've done our market research.
Yes.
We've validated the idea.
Okay.
We know that there are people out there who want this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next?
Business plan.
The business plan.
The blog post talks
Yeah.
a lot about this.
Yeah, the blog post.
Which, I know it can sound a little old school,
Yeah.
right? 2025, like who even writes business plans anymore?
Well, it can seem like a lot of work,
Yeah.
but
Not
they're
final.
still important.
But they are so valuable. So valuable. Because it really forces you to think through all of the things that you need to think through to actually set your business up for success.
Yeah.
Like, what are your goals?
Mm.
Who is your competition?
Okay.
How are you going to make money?
Right.
Like, it's not about writing this rigid document
Yeah.
that sits on the shelf.
That just collects dust.
Yes. It's a roadmap, right?
Oh, I like that. A roadmap.
It helps you navigate
Yeah.
the crazy.
Yeah, because even in the online world, you can't just wing it.
Nope.
But let's be honest, sometimes the online world
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
can feel like a vast digital wilderness.
Absolutely.
How do you keep your business from being totally swallowed up by the
Right.
the online jungle?
Well, you've got to think about SEO,
Oh, SEO.
search engine optimization.
Yeah.
If your website is buried on
Ugh.
like page 10 of Google search results,
Yeah.
it might as well not exist.
Nobody is going to find you there.
Exactly. You could have the best website
Yeah.
in the world
Yeah.
with the best products, the best services, the best prices.
Mhm.
But if nobody can find it,
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
It's almost like you spent all this time decorating this amazing house,
Yes.
and then you put it in the middle of nowhere where no one can see it.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SEO. So think about
Yeah.
how do people find what they're looking for online? They use search engines,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you've got to make sure that your website is optimized to show up in
Right.
the results.
When someone searches for...
Yes, when they search for things that are relevant
Yeah.
to what your business
Yeah.
offers.
So what are some tips
Okay.
for making sure that happens?
Well, the blog talks about long tail keywords.
Okay, long-tail keywords.
So these are those longer, more specific
Mm.
phrases that people type into search engines
Okay.
when they are closer to making a purchase.
Oh, okay.
So instead of targeting just shoes,
Yeah.
you might target comfortable running shoes for flat feet.
Okay.
So it's about getting really specific and understanding the language your customers are actually using.
I like that. It's like a little bit of a secret decoder ring
Yes.
to figure out what your customer really wants.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I've got all my SEO
Yes.
perfectly set up.
Right.
People are finding my website.
They're coming to your website.
They're clicking on the links.
Yes.
They're there.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get to the site and it's
Yeah.
a mess.
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
Right, like we've all had that experience
Yeah.
where you click on a website and you're like, get me out of here.
I can't find anything.
Yeah, like this is the worst.
Where's the back button?
Yeah, and you immediately click away.
Yes.
And the blog post talks about that
Yeah.
as user experience.
User experience. You could make or break your business.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's true.
It's like you've invited someone into your store,
Yeah.
but the lights are flickering, the music's too loud, and it's impossible to find anything.
Yeah, and it's like a maze.
Yeah, nobody wants to shop there.
No, they're going to turn around and walk right back out.
Exactly. So what makes a good user experience? What keeps those customers on the site?
Well, you got to think about design.
Okay, so a clean design.
Clean design. It's got to be easy to navigate.
Yeah.
You want it to be mobile responsive
Oh, that's a big one.
because so many people are on their phones these days.
Right.
And you don't want them to have to zoom in and out.
Right. It's got to be smooth.
Smooth, seamless.
Yeah.
And then the checkout process, right?
That's so important.
If that is clunky,
Yeah.
difficult, or confusing, people are going to abandon their carts.
So true. Okay, so let's say I've got my website.
Okay.
It's beautifully designed,
It's gorgeous.
super user-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
SEO is bringing in traffic.
Awesome.
Can I just, like, sit back, relax, and watch the sales roll in?
Ugh. The build it and they will come. Myth.
Is that a myth?
It is a myth, I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh, no.
So you're telling me I actually have to market my business?
It seems like it.
Okay.
But where do I even begin?
Okay, so marketing can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be scary, right?
Okay.
This blog post advocates for
Yeah.
a balanced approach.
Okay.
So you've got all these different avenues you can explore, social media,
Oh, yeah, social media is big.
email campaigns,
Yeah.
paid advertising, even influencer marketing.
Okay, so I kind of want to dig into this a little bit because
Sure.
I'm really curious about the email marketing piece.
Yeah.
Because it seems like these days, everyone's all about
Social media, yeah.
social media,
It's all over the place.
but the blog post
Yeah.
really emphasizes email marketing.
Yeah.
So is email still a thing?
It's absolutely still a thing.
Really?
Yes. And it's actually, in many ways, even more powerful
Than social media.
than social media. And here's why.
Hmm?
Because your email list is
Mhm.
made up of people who have actively chosen to hear from you.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
They're interested in what you have to offer.
Okay.
They've given you their email address.
Yeah.
They want to receive your emails.
So it's not just me shouting into the void.
It's not just shouting into the void.
Okay, so it's more of a
Yeah.
cultivated garden.
Yes.
A curated
Okay, so you've got to have your website.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have your SEO.
Yeah.
You've got to do your market research.
Oh.
You've got to have this balanced
Trace.
marketing plan.
Yes.
All this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
So, real talk for a second.
Real talk.
Building an online business
Yeah.
takes time.
It does. Right.
It really does.
It's not just going to happen overnight. And this
Right.
is something that the blog post really emphasizes, too.
They talk about realistic expectations.
Yes, setting those realistic expectations.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking,
Oh, it could be a million.
I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Right.
But building a thriving online business
Mm.
is more like nurturing a tree,
Mm.
right?
Ooh, I like that analogy.
It's a gradual process. It takes consistent effort,
Yeah.
patience,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to be willing to adapt to the changing seasons.
Okay, so we need to kind of ditch that get-rich-quick mentality.
Yes.
Embrace the long game.
Yes. Focus on the long game.
All right, and speaking of long game,
Okay.
let's talk about something that can be incredibly valuable,
Okay.
but often overlooked.
Oh, what's that?
And that is customer feedback,
Oh, yeah. Customer feedback.
the voice of the people.
The voice of the people.
But sometimes feedback can be hard to hear,
Oh, it can be tough,
especially when it's negative.
especially when it's negative. But you know what? You have to think of it this way.
Okay.
Every piece of feedback,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's positive
Yeah.
or negative,
Yeah.
is a gift.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
I'll-
It's a direct line
Okay.
to understanding your customers' experiences,
Mhm.
their needs,
Their pain points.
their pain points, exactly.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
basically free market research.
It's like having a team of consultants
Uh-huh.
working for you for free.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
So how do we get this feedback?
Oh, there's so many ways.
Yeah.
You can use surveys.
Okay.
You can encourage online reviews.
Yeah.
You can monitor social media comments.
Right.
You can even reach out directly for testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to make it easy for
Yeah.
customers to share their thoughts.
Right.
And then to actually listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, and not just be collecting data.
Not just collecting data,
Yeah.
but actually engaging with it.
Right, because we're not just
Yeah.
building data.
Yeah.
We're building relationships.
We're building relationships with our customers.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of data,
Okay, data.
let's talk about analytics.
Oh, analytics.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
all this
that's the
data,
secret decoder ring.
yeah, but it's a
Like,
lot.
or-
It can feel really overwhelming at first.
It can be.
But the blog post talks about how important it is
Yes.
to understand analytics.
Mm-hmm.
And it mentions things like
Yeah.
Google Analytics.
Google Analytics is fantastic.
Right. And Hotjar and all these tools that provide just
Come on.
mountains of
There
data.
are mountains of data,
Yeah.
but it's all valuable.
So what do you do with that data?
Well, you use it to make informed decisions, right?
So instead of just guessing.
Instead of guessing,
Yeah.
you're using real data to
Right.
figure out what's working,
Okay.
what's not working,
So what are
and where you can improve.
some of the things that you're looking at?
Okay, so when
Yeah.
I'm looking at Google Analytics,
Right.
I'm looking at website traffic.
So how many people are coming to my website?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they coming from?
Okay.
What pages are they visiting?
Yeah.
How long are they staying on those pages?
Okay.
What are they clicking on?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm looking at conversion rates.
Okay.
So how many people are actually taking the action
Okay.
that I want them to take?
Right.
Whether that's making a purchase
Yeah.
or signing up for my email list
Yeah.
or downloading a free guide,
Okay.
whatever it is.
So it's almost like a backstage pass to how people are interacting
Yes.
with your
It's
website.
peeking behind the curtain.
But all this data is useless if you're not willing to experiment, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You've got to
You
take
know.
that data and actually use it to try new things.
Okay, yeah.
To test, to iterate, to refine your approach.
So speaking of refining,
Yes.
let's talk
Let's
about
talk about it.
setting those realistic expectations.
So expectation.
Because, we all see those ads online.
Make $1 million tomorrow.
Yeah, like get rich quick.
Work from the beach.
Right. And it's easy to fall into that trap
It is so easy.
of thinking that success is going to happen overnight.
Right, like it's just going to magically appear.
Yeah.
But the reality is that
Yeah.
building a successful online business
Mm-hmm.
takes time,
Yeah.
effort, and persistence.
Yeah.
And I love how the blog post uses this analogy
Okay.
of a tiny seed growing into a mighty oak tree.
Oh, I like that.
Right. It's a gradual process.
Yeah.
It takes patience. You have to nurture it,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be willing to weather those storms.
Right. And you have to be willing to
Yeah,
adapt. Right. And that brings us
It brings us to
our final point.
our final point for this section, adaptability.
Adaptability. That's so important.
So important in the online world.
Especially in the online world.
Always changing.
The blog post talked about
Yeah.
how important it is
Yeah.
to stay informed.
Informed about trends, about technology, about...
Yeah, about what your customer wants.
Yes. Because what worked last year might not work this year.
It's like
What's hot today could be obsolete tomorrow.
it's like navigating this constantly shifting landscape.
It is. It's like being a surfer,
Yeah.
riding a wave.
Right. You've got to adjust.
You have to adjust your balance,
Yeah.
read the currents,
Mm-hmm.
be ready to adapt to those changing conditions.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting about the online world, right?
It is exciting. I have to agree.
It's dynamic. It's constantly changing.
There's always something new.
There's always something new to learn, a new challenge to overcome,
Yeah.
a new opportunity to seize.
And the online world rewards those
Yeah.
who are agile,
Yeah.
who are curious, who are open to new ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Okay, no, I feel like my brain is full.
Full of knowledge bombs.
Yeah, I feel like
So many good things to think about.
I've got a lot to think about and a lot to implement
Oh,
already.
I love it.
Yeah.
As we were talking about adapting to the online world and how much it changes all the time, it really reminded me how important it is to have a growth mindset as an entrepreneur.
Oh, absolutely. The online world definitely rewards people who are willing to try new things and experiment and just learn as they go and evolve.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that the blog post doesn't explicitly say, but it's kind of woven throughout the advice.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's like a meta lesson, you know?
It is a meta lesson.
If you're not willing to learn from mistakes and constantly improve, you're going to have a much tougher time in the online world.
Absolutely. It's going to be a much harder road.
Okay, so let's jump back to some of the specific points that they raised in this blog post.
Sounds good.
One of the things that really stood out to me was the section on neglecting customer feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's such a big one.
Yeah.
I think it's so easy to get caught up in your own vision for your business that you kind of forget to listen to the people who matter the most,
Who are those?
your customers.
Oh, yeah. The
The
consent.
people who are actually buying your product,
Right.
using your services, giving you money,
Right.
those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And the blog post shared a really interesting story
Oh, yeah?
about a business that turned a negative review into a positive customer experience.
Oh, wow.
And it really highlighted the power of
Yeah.
taking feedback seriously,
Mm.
even when it's tough to hear.
It can be tough.
Yeah. What's so interesting to me about feedback
Okay.
is that it's not just about addressing complaints. It's
Yeah.
about really actively listening to your customers and using their input to refine what you offer.
It's like having a built-in focus group
Oh,
that's telling you exactly what they want, what they like, what they don't like.
yeah, it's like free market research.
Exactly. A goldmine of information.
Right. And it's easier than ever these days to collect that
Totally.
feedback. It's super easy.
We have social media comments. We have online reviews. We have email surveys we can send out. We even have direct messaging.
Yep.
I mean, there are so many different avenues
In so many ways.
to tap into the minds of your customers.
Yeah. And the key is to make it easy for them to share their thoughts
Right.
and then actually take the time to listen
And respond.
and respond. Yeah. And not just like collect the data and then just ignore it.
You got to actually engage with it.
Engage with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make those customers feel heard and valued.
And speaking of data,
Oh, yes. Data, my favorite.
let's not forget about monitoring analytics.
Analytics. It's like a secret decoder ring for your business.
I love that analogy.
It can be a little overwhelming at first,
Oh,
but
yeah.
once you understand the key metrics, it's like unlocking a treasure trove of insights.
And the blog post mentioned a couple of tools,
Yeah.
Google Analytics and Hotjar.
Yep. Love both of those.
These tools provide so much data
Oh my gosh. So much.
on website traffic, on conversion rates.
Yeah. User behavior, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it can be mind-boggling.
It can.
The amount of data you can get.
But how do you know what to do with all that information?
Well, you use it to make informed decisions. That's the key.
Yeah.
Instead of just guessing, you're using real data to figure out what's working, what's not working, and where you can improve.
So what are some of the things you're looking at
Okay.
when you're...
When I'm looking at my Google Analytics, for instance, I'm looking at website traffic.
Okay.
So how many people are actually coming to my website? Where are they coming from?
Oh,
What pages are they visiting?
interesting.
How long are they staying on those pages? What are they clicking on?
Okay, so you're really getting a sense of
Yes, you're getting a sense of how people are flowing through your website.
how people are interacting with your content.
Exactly. And then I look at conversion rates.
Okay, and what are conversion rates?
So that's how many people are actually taking the action I want them to take.
Okay, so if I want somebody to
Yeah.
buy something.
If you want them to buy something or sign up for your email list
Yeah.
or download a free guide, whatever it is that you want them to do, how many of the people who visit your website are actually doing that thing?
So it's a way to measure.
It's a way to measure the effectiveness
Yeah.
of your website and your marketing.
And it's almost
We
like
can
a
click that.
backstage pass to understanding
It's like getting to peek behind the curtain and
Wow.
see what's really going on.
how people are interacting with your business.
Exactly.
But all that data is only useful if you're willing to experiment right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't just collect the data and then do nothing with it.
Right, you've got to actually use it.
You have to take that data and use it to try new things, test things, iterate, refine your approach.
So speaking of refining,
Yes.
let's talk about
To talk about.
setting those realistic expectations.
Oh, yeah. The expectations game.
Because, we all see those ads online.
We do.
The ones that say,
Oh, yeah. Make $1 million tomorrow.
get rich quick.
Work from the beach.
Yeah, and it's so easy to fall into that trap of
Yeah.
thinking that success is just going to
Yeah.
happen overnight.
It's just going to magically appear.
Right.
But that's rarely how it works.
Yeah.
The reality is that building a successful business online
Mm-hmm.
takes time. It takes effort. It takes persistence.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how the blog post uses this analogy of a tiny seed growing into a mighty oak tree.
I do too. I think that's such a good analogy.
It's a great analogy because it illustrates that it's a gradual process, right?
Yeah.
You have to have patience, you have to nurture it,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be willing to kind of weather those storms.
Right, and you have to be willing to adapt.
Adapt. There it is again.
Right. And that brings us
It brings us
to our final point.
To our final point for this section, adaptability.
Adaptability,
Right.
that's so important in the online world.
It is essential because the online world, as we've said,
Mm-hmm.
is constantly changing.
The blog post talked about how important it is to stay informed about new trends and emerging technologies
Yeah.
and shifting customer preferences.
Because what worked last year might not work this year.
Right, what's hot today could be obsolete tomorrow.
Exactly. So you have to be willing to constantly learn and grow and evolve.
Yeah, it's almost like you navigating
It is.
landscape that's constantly shifting.
It's like being a surfer riding a wave, right?
Yeah.
You got to constantly adjust your balance, read the currents, and be ready to adapt to those changing conditions.
And that's what makes it so exciting too.
It is exciting.
Because there's always something new to learn.
There's always a new challenge, a new opportunity.
Yeah, and the online world rewards those who are
Who are agile,
agile.
curious,
Yes.
open to new ideas.
Absolutely.
So I think, we've covered a lot of ground in this section of our deep dive.
Yeah, my brain is feeling a little full,
Knowledge overload.
but in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. So many good things to think about. So many good things to implement in your business.
So to our listeners out there, before we move on to the next section of the deep dive,
Yes.
I want to leave you with a question to think about.
Ooh, I love questions.
What's one action you can take today
Today,
based on what we've discussed?
that's a good one.
It could be something as simple as setting up Google Analytics for your website,
Oh, yeah.
or brainstorming a list of long-tail keywords, or maybe reaching out to a few customers and asking for some feedback.
The key is to take action,
No matter how small.
no matter how small, because even those tiny steps
Yeah,
can add up to big results.
absolutely. And remember, you don't have to do this alone.
Oh, no, you don't.
There are so many resources.
So many resources available, online communities, forums, courses, mentors, podcasts like this one,
We're all in this together,
We are.
navigating this crazy world.
the crazy but exciting world
Yeah.
of online business.
So stay curious, stay adaptable, and never stop learning.
And have fun along the way, right?
I think that's right, because when you're passionate about what you do, success is sure to follow.
So let's move on to the final part of our deep dive
Okay.
and explore even more insights
Sounds good.
to help you thrive in the online world.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into online business success. You know, it's amazing how much ground we've covered already.
I know, right? Feels like we've gone through a whole online business crash course.
From market research and SEO to user experience and the power of customer feedback, we've really explored some essential stuff.
Yeah, the real building blocks of building a successful online business.
And of course, let's not forget about those data-driven decisions.
Oh, data. Gotta love it.
Analytics can be such a powerful tool.
Oh, absolutely. It's like having a secret weapon that helps you understand what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, and where you can improve.
Exactly. So you can make those smart decisions that really move the needle.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me in that blog post
Yeah.
was how much they emphasized avoiding common pitfalls.
Oh, yeah. Those classic mistakes that can really trip you up.
It's like they were offering a pre-mortem for your business.
I love that. Like a heads up on what not to do.
Exactly, helping you identify potential problems before they even arise.
So you can avoid those bumps in the road and set yourself up for smoother sailing.
And that brings us back to the importance of having that solid business plan.
The trusty roadmap.
It really is the foundation for everything else you do.
Yeah, without a clear plan, it's so easy to get lost in the weeds, to waste time and money, and just lose sight of your goals.
So that business plan, it's like your compass, guiding you toward your destination.
Exactly. Even when things get a little crazy.
And remember, it's not a static document.
No, it should evolve as your business grows.
You've got to be flexible and adjust as you go.
Absolutely. Now let's revisit something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Search engine optimization, or SEO for short.
Oh yeah, SEO. It's so crucial for getting found online.
Because let's be real these days, it's not enough to just build a website and hope people will magically stumble upon it.
You have to be proactive.
Absolutely. You have to make sure your website is optimized so it ranks high in search results.
So when people search for something, you offer.
Boom. Your website pops up.
And that means understanding those long-tail keywords.
Yep. Those specific phrases people use when they're looking for exactly what you offer.
And don't forget about those meta descriptions.
Yes. Those little snippets of text that appear under your website title in the search results.
They're like your elevator pitch.
Exactly. You want them to be compelling enough to make people want to click.
And speaking of clicking, you've got to make sure your website loads quickly.
Oh, website speed is so important.
Nobody wants to wait around for a slow website.
Nope, they'll just bounce.
And of course, you need to be creating high-quality content.
Content is king.
But it can't just be any content.
No, it has to be valuable, relevant, and engaging.
Yeah, people can spot fluffy or irrelevant content a mile away.
Absolutely. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about user experience, or UX.
Oh, UX design. I think we can all relate to the frustration of a bad website.
We've all been there. Cluttered, confusing, hard to navigate.
It's like walking into a store that's a complete mess.
Exactly. The blog post emphasized clean design, mobile responsiveness, and a seamless checkout process.
It's all about making the experience enjoyable and easy.
Absolutely. You want people to easily find what they're looking for and complete their desired actions without any hassle.
Okay, so we've got a great website. We're ranking high in search results.
Fantastic.
What's next?
Marketing. You got to spread the word about your amazing business.
Right. Gone are the days of build it and they will come.
Yeah, that just doesn't cut it anymore.
In today's online world, you've got to be proactive about getting your message out there.
Absolutely. There are so many ways to do it. Social media, email campaigns, paid advertising, influencer marketing. The list goes on.
It can feel a little overwhelming at times.
It definitely can. But the key is to find a mix that works for you and your budget.
A balanced approach is usually a good starting point.
Exactly. And of course, you got to track your results.
Oh, right. Data-driven decisions.
It's all about knowing what's working, what's not, and where you can improve.
And that brings us to something we've touched on throughout this deep dive.
What's that?
Adaptability.
Adaptability. The key to thriving in the ever-changing online world.
The blog post emphasized how important it is to stay informed about emerging trends, new technologies, shifting customer preferences.
You've got to be willing to pivot and adjust your course as needed.
It's like navigating a constantly evolving landscape.
Exactly. And the businesses that thrive in this environment are the ones that are agile, adaptable, and always learning.
So we've come to the end of our deep dive into avoiding online business blunders.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
I know, right? It's been quite a journey.
But I think we've covered some incredibly valuable ground.
I think our listener has a solid foundation to build upon.
Definitely. And remember, building a successful online business is a marathon, not a sprint.
It's about taking those consistent steps, making smart decisions, and never giving up on your vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to our listener out there embarking on this exciting journey, remember to stay curious, stay adaptable, and never stop learning.
And most importantly, believe in yourself and your vision.
The online world is full of possibilities.
And with passion, persistence, and a healthy dose of informed decision-making,
You can achieve amazing things.
that's it for our deep dive into avoiding online business blunders.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, happy diving.